It was the summer of 1979. The sky over southeastern Spain was unusually calm that night, clear, still, and almost eerily silent. At the Los Llanos air base, near Albacete, radar operators were growing restless, staring into the flickering green screens that monitored the darkness. Around 2 a.m., one of them noticed something strange, an object enormous, motionless, and perfectly geometric-wise, hovering far above the Mediterranean coastline. At first, they thought it was a radar glitch. These things happened, but the signal didn't fade. It just stayed there, steady, massive, and impossibly symmetrical. They called the duty officer. Minutes later, the decision was made. A Mirage F-1 fighter was scrambled, its mission to identify the object. The pilot was a seasoned officer. His name was never officially disclosed, and his report would eventually vanish from public record. But fragments of his story would resurface years later, whispered among airmen, retold in the dark corners of late-night radio shows. He took off under orders to intercept. As he climbed above 30,000 feet, his instruments began to behave strangely. His compass spun wildly. Radio channels flickered in and out with static, and even the onboard computer displayed unreadable data. At 50 miles out from the object's coordinates, he made first visual contact. What he saw defied all logic. It wasn't a light, or a saucer, or even a shape that made any kind of aerodynamic sense. It looked like a structure, a colossal, polygonal wall suspended in the air, reflecting faint, otherworldly glimmers of green and violet light. It was perfectly motionless, perfectly silent. He radioed the base. Object in sight, approaching for identification. The controller on the ground acknowledged. Then, something happened. The radio filled with static, a harsh, crackling sound. But through the noise, something else emerged. The faint sound of laughter, children's laughter. At first, he thought it was interference, maybe. A civilian broadcast bleeding through the secure military channel, but the laughter grew louder, seeming to surround him, echoing inside his helmet. Then came the voices, high-pitched, playful, and human. "Do you want to catch us?" one of them said, clear as day. Another giggled. "You can't reach us." The pilot froze. He switched frequencies, trying to clear the channel. The laughter followed. He shut off his auxiliary radio system. Still, there, he was now flying in near total silence, except for the sound of his own breathing and those impossible, disembodied voices. Then, for a brief, terrifying moment, the massive object shifted. It didn't move across the sky, but its shape folded in on itself, like light bending through a complex prism of glass. And in that instant, every single alarm in the cockpit screamed at once. Temperature warnings, pressure alerts, critical power surges. His entire console lit up in a symphony of failure. The pilot reacted on instinct, pulling away hard and diving his jet toward the safety of the coast. He didn't look back when he finally touched down at Los Llanos. Emergency crews immediately surrounded the plane. Something wasn't right. The Mirage looked as though it had been scorched by an invisible fire. The paint on the fuselage had bubbled and blackened, as if it had flown through a storm of intense heat, but without any flame. The maintenance chief later said he'd never seen anything like it. There were no signs of combustion, no smoke, no residue, just a subtle, uniform burn covering the entire aircraft. The pilot was shaken but coherent. He told his superiors everything: the impossible object, the children's voices, the overwhelming heat that never became a fire. Then, the debriefing abruptly stopped. No further questions were asked. His flight logs were sealed. Within weeks, he was quietly transferred to another unit. He never spoke publicly about the incident again. Years passed, and fragments of the story began to leak into civilian circles. A retired radar technician, interviewed anonymously, confirmed that something truly unexplained was tracked that night. He said it appeared on the screen like a wall of light that shouldn't exist in the sky. Another account, completely uncorroborated, claimed that the pilot suffered recurring nightmares for months afterward. In his dreams, he was back inside that cockpit, trapped in the cold darkness, listening to the laughter of unseen children, Officially, nothing happened on that night in 1979. There is no case file, no photograph, no surviving radio recording. But according to researchers who later investigated the story, one curious detail remains. For several weeks after the incident, the same radar station picked up intermittent blips over the Mediterranean, perfectly geometric shapes, appearing and disappearing in mere seconds. When technicians tried to triangulate their position, the signals would simply vanish. To this day, the Spanish Air Force has never commented. No pilot has ever publicly claimed the mission. And yet, the story persists passed down like a ghost story among aviators. Some call it the polygon of the sky. Others, the children of the air. Skeptics say it was a simple radar malfunction, combined with psychological stress and some form of electromagnetic interference. But believers point to the physical evidence, the scorched aircraft, and ask a simple question. How can a hallucination burn steel? Maybe the laughter was just a glitch, a strange echo in the radio spectrum. Or maybe it wasn't laughter at all. Perhaps something ancient and impossibly intelligent was playing a game, with a human mind at the very edge of the stratosphere mocking, testing, and watching. And somewhere, high above the quiet skies of Spain, the echo of those voices still lingers, carried by the wind. Do you want to catch us? You can't reach us. Thank you so much for watching. If you found this story as fascinating and unsettling as I did, please hit that like button and subscribe for more deep dives into the world's greatest mysteries. We'll see you in the next one.